Hello everyone, welcome back to the Drive Guide, and here in my hands is the 2021 Ford Escape SEL Hybrid, and I've covered the latest generation of the Escape a couple times before on this channel, so this is going to be a quick and largely focused review on the hybrid driving experience. I've only got the chance to test out the hybrid for really a few kilometers when I went to the launch of the Escape in Kentucky. This is my first proper experience behind the wheel, and there's a lot of good things with this hybrid system in particular, and a few things I like about the Ford Escape as it stands. So let's just quickly get onto the road. I'll talk about the generalities of what I like and what I don't like about the current Escape. Then we'll talk about the hybrid performance. The latest generation of Ford Escape was a massive improvement over the previous generation's vehicle. There's a lot more refinement and overall comfort in this newer model than the outgoing version. But one of my favorite things about the Escape is its slightly scrappy and rambunctious driving character. That stays intact, but if you're not looking for that kind of driver involvement, the Ford Escape might seem a little busy to you. It is very much in tune with the road. It transmits all of the imperfections to the driver and its passengers. As someone that enjoys driving, I don't mind this, but if you're just looking for a very comfortable and relaxed compact crossover, the Ford Escape might not be the vehicle for you. The interior layout of the Ford Escape is all very logical, all very smart, but it is a very well-fair interior. In this SEL trim, it's a lot of soft touch plastics and very grainy leatherettes. The build quality isn't terrible, but there's a lot of flex to the components, like just resting your knee up against the door cards flexes that quite a bit. But if build quality and the integrity of the cabin is important to you, that's another area where the Ford Escape might disappoint. And for taller drivers specifically, I find that the front seats of this Escape are nowhere near supportive enough for tall body types such as myself. If you're over 6'4", you're likely going to find some level of complaint with the seats not having enough under leg support. There's almost no body hugging around my torso or down by my legs too. And this introduces the dilemma of that the Ford Escape has some pretty good road handling characteristics. It really grips to the tarmac, but you in your seat are flopping about, and there's been occasions where I've just taken a hard corner and literally slid right into this soft plastic of the door cards. So the Ford Escape in many ways is a bit like a hot hatch in the ways that you might not expect it to be, but definitely not in the ways that you'd want it to be either. So with all that covered, let's talk about the hybrid system, because I have spoken at length on my channel as to why I love hybrids. Simply put, they make a regular commute more interesting because they add this element of trying to improve your driving efficiency. And if you're doing stop and go city traffic and you don't have to be particularly gentle with the throttle to keep the battery pack engaged, from there it's not only going to improve your fuel savings, but it is, in my opinion, going to make your regular day-to-day drive more interesting. In the case of the Ford Escape Hybrid, we have a 2.5-litre transverse mounted, naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine using the Atkinson cycle. You can either have it with front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, and the hybrid capability is 2 electric motors, an eCVT, and a 1.1 kilowatt-hour battery pack. It's lithium ion, it sits underneath the second row of seats. All of this makes a combined 200 horsepower and 155 pound-feet of torque with a towing rating of 1,500 pounds. None of these numbers are particularly stand out, and the horsepower and pound-feet of torque I think is actually quite misleading. I have found this Escape to be reasonably peppy off of the line, and if you want to really push into the throttle, it's a screamer. There's no lie. This engine has the same amount of thrills to it as a lawnmower, but it gets the job done. And the regenerative brakes feed plenty of energy back into the battery pack, where there's plenty of circumstances where in stop and go city traffic, I could comfortably get to 60, 65 kilometers an hour without ever starting up the engine. Within your rotary wheel, there's an L mode, and this significantly increases the regenerative braking system. I haven't ever found it takes me to complete dead stops, but very close to it. And then you have another button for selecting driving modes, which will take you from normal, sport, eco, slippery, and snow/sand assist. And I've tested out many different hybrid systems, and you can always get this little, almost like a clicking sensation where the engine reignites, where it's now taking over from the electric motors. And I don't think I've ever felt a transition so seamless like I have in this Ford Escape. There's the obvious audible telltale sign, but you don't have that same clicking sensation or an unnatural step up in power. And in terms of numbers, the hybrid is taking away a little bit of rear passenger space and trunk capacity, but you really aren't going to notice. I love that in the Ford Escape, the seats can recline forwards and backwards a little bit. They can slide a fair distance too. And in this model, you can see that underneath the false floor, you have a space saver spare wheel, as well as a few other additional spots to store things. So out of all of the Ford Escapes that I've tested out, I think the hybrid is the most desirable, the most engaging, and I think could be the best option for people that are willing to learn a new way to drive, in the sense that there is fun to be had in a hybrid where any normal combustion engine vehicle can't provide you. So if any of this sounds interesting to you, then I think the Ford Escape still comfortably remains a vehicle that you should consider owning, and the hybrid is just the best version of it yet. Though the Ford Escape might not be my favorite in this class, and it is lacking, I think, in some areas over its rivals, this hybrid version is the best Escape yet. So thank you very much for taking the time to watching this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all of those great things really help me out a lot. Thanks again. Hope to see you on this channel once again soon.